It's so crazy having to leave the place you're from because some dudes.
What's been happening since the beginning of the 20th century. It's like, it didn't happen with October 7th. It happened in 1967, in 1956, and 1948, and before that in 1936. And so it's been going on forever, but just
What was in 1936?
This is called the Arab Revolution, 1936, where at the time Palestine was at the Arab. It's called the Arab Revolt. This is where the Palestinians lost 10% of their males in that revolution against the British. And it's funny when you say, like, Palestine is a land with no people for people with no land. Remember that when you tell you that? Yeah. But the British, the British troops, they collected 100,000 troops from all around their colonies to come quell this revolution. 100,000 from all around the country, from all around the globe. They needed 100,000 soldiers to kill people who did not exist.
And this is when.
And this is basically what happened. Is it was so fierce, and I told you the Palestinian population lost 10% of its male population in this war, and this was a prequel for now. It made it easier for the Zionist gangs to kill more because they were really exhausted in that war against the British, So and after 1939, the expansion of the Zionists in Palestine was crazy.
Now you had for a long time the people of Palestine who were living under British, I guess, command at the time, but like. They had been there. The people there had been there for a long time. And then there was also a Christian community and also a Jewish community. Yeah. How, looking back on it, I don't know if it's like waving a magic wand, but like, how would you have done it differently if you were going to be like, all right, we're going to give the Jewish people their own state? Would you have just done it somewhere completely
first
else?
of all, if the Jewish people would like to have their own state, please be my guest, but not on my land. The Jewish population in Palestine have never exceeded 1 to 2% of the population, all through history. All through history. And just like, let's go back, because I need just to address something that really pisses me off: the fact that like the Jews are the indigenous people of Palestine because they've been there. First of all, like the Jewish empire under King David or whatever, it lasted 200 and 300 years, 3,000 years ago, and they were not the first one. So they were not the first, and they were not the longest. So they had 200 years, 6,000 years, like 3,000 years ago, and that's it. 200, 300 years. It's like someone who would lived in Kentucky for 300 years, 3,000 years ago, and now comes and want to take all of Kentucky and all of the East Coast. It doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah. Because before there was the Canaanites, the Philistines, there were, and even the Egyptian Empire occupied Palestine for more than 200, 300 years. Palestine and the Levant was like an integral part of the Egyptian Empire, the pharaohs for a couple of 1,000 years.
Yes.
So if anybody would have claim, it should be us. And so there were people before the Jews, and there were people after the Jews. Right. And what really pisses me off, especially about liberal Zionists, that's like, we don't believe in God. We're atheists, but God gave us Palestine. Come on, guys. I mean, pick a lane. Pick a lane. You don't believe in God, but you believe that the same God that does not exist gave you the land, which is fucking someone like Bill Maher is a piece of shit, by the way. So anyways,
slid down.
So I just had to say that he's just like an asshole. Anyway, so and then years went by. And then there was horrible, Holocaust and pogroms for Jewish people in Ukraine and Russia, and then in Germany.
Right.
They were really screwed. They were kicked from one country to the other, and then in the beginning of the 20th century, they decided that we need to give those people who went through hell in Europe their own state in Palestine. It doesn't make any sense. Location. And by the way, And even Palestine was not the first and was not the most special because they tried to make
Uganda.
in Uganda,
Yeah.
in Argentina, in Madagascar.
Wait, when was Argentina?
They tried. No, these were proposed.
Okay.
The one that kind of gave them the land, but they didn't take it was Uganda.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
what, like 1904. Or
yeah. So there's like 200 acres or something. So I can't remember what 4,000. I can't remember. No. What's 200? Like 4,000. There was
farm.
yeah. Sorry, 4,000 acres. I can't remember the number.
Okay.
I think they gave them a considerable amount of land in Uganda. Yeah, I don't even know what an acre is. It's like this American.
I
thing.
still don't know what an acre is. Actually, I can't eyeball it.
They offered 3.2 million.
They offered
3.2
million.
So I was like I was off by 3 million. I was off by 3 million. At the 200 acres, I was off.
Yeah, I was like, they building a farm.
So now you have people who claim that they're indigenous while their ancestors lived for just a couple of hundred years, 3,000 years ago. You're talking about people who are in the present time were considering other options
Right.
in the same time. So it's like if this is divine, like why would God accept other options? What would
That's
even
why
be
they didn't
there?
accept it.
Yeah.
Bassem.
No, so, okay. So you accept it because your religion told you that like I can come and I can kick you out of your house because God told me this. Because I went through the Holocaust, which I didn't have anything to do with it. And here's the thing about people don't know about the partition, because in 1947 there was the UN partition. And when they claim, the Palestinian, they didn't accept peace because we offered them partition, and then they went into war with Israel. This is how they changed the history. Because 1947, overnight, the UN granted the Jews who were less than 20% or 30% of the population, who were living on less than 20% of the land, overnight they gave them 55% of Palestine. Right. And then they gave the Palestinians who were for that, in the 80% of the land, who had more people, they gave them 45% of the population. It's like, you see, they never accept peace. It does. You came to my house and then you just you're angry at me because I didn't accept less than half of what's mine.
Yeah.
And then the other lie said and then when that happened, the next day, the Arabs went to war. No, the Zionist gangs 4 years, and even after the partition, they were ethnically cleansed and killing people in Palestinian villages, Deir Yassin and Tantura, and all of these massacres and all of the stuff, the horrible stuff that they claimed the Palestinians did to them in October 7th, they did it to them like 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. And then overnight, when the state of Israel was declared, overnight, 750,000, 750,000 Palestinians overnight were pushed out of their homes.
The Nakba.
Yes.
Yeah.
750,000 of humans living in their homes moved overnight.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
So when you tell me if I go back, what would I do different? Everything. You guys had problems with Europeans. As a matter of fact, many of the Jews that wanted to seek asylum in the United States and in the UK after World War II, after the Holocaust, they were not granted asylum.
They weren't.
They were not.
The UK.
There's even a very famous story about the father of Anne Frank having his asylum rejected by the U.S.
Ooh, I'm unfamiliar with this. Let's pull that up. That's crazy.
But you can talk about how America and UK rejected asylum of many of the Jewish survivors of the Holocaust, and they came, and then it's all right, sorry, send them to Palestine. What the hell?
Were they told to? That's what I'm.
I know, no, because you had now all of these companies this we have. It's
Yeah, Anne Frank's family was denied a chance at U.S. immigration. Waitlist bombings and restrictive U.S. immigration policies thwarted Anne Frank's family chances. Oh, so when he was trying to get there before it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it continued after 45. Many of the people could not come to the States and the UK. They just sent them to
found
Palestine.
their way to New York.
Yeah. So you see that. So when you tell me again, what would I do differently? It's everything. The whole thing was built on fake premise, fake claims, wrong premise, wrong claims, and it's unjust. I'm sorry for whatever happened to the Jews in Europe, but I'm sorry, man, that's not our fault.